Sports with Rico. Today, I will be your host. Today's show, we are talking about UFC 294. We have two contestants that are running it back from UFC 284. And back by popular demand, I've been reading the fan comments. I got a special guest for you. Before I actually jump into it, let me first go ahead and thank the fans out there for actually listening to the show and helping us drive content to the show. I want to go ahead and also thank Anchor for being our platform. I want to go ahead and also thank YouTube as well. You can catch the show on Real Talk Sports with Rico on Spotify podcast, and you can also catch us on YouTube as well. And so, without further ado, let's jump into the content. And he is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Davontae, the Real Hogan, is back to the show, guys. So he is back.
Hey, well, thanks for having me back, man. Look, I wish I was a heavyweight champion right now, man. That'd be nice.
Hey, man, we got a lot to talk about, man. We talked about 294 last time, and some things changed since we last talked.
I know.
Yeah, so I know we got a lot of breaking stories.
Yeah.
For this one, man. So let me go ahead and jump in. I know you're ringside. Give me the pulse here. Let me know what exactly that has gone on since 294, which is getting ready to take place right now.
Yeah, so the last time we did our video, we both picked Oliveira to win, and then unfortunately he had an injury, got a cut over his right eye, and that and then Dana just immediately called Volk up. I feel like too, Dana wanted Volkanovski to fight Islam all along. He didn't want Charles to fight him again. So, and then on top of that, we had Paulo Costa pull out in the co-main event. He was supposed to fight Khamzat Chimaev. Now we got Kamaru Usman and Volkanovski fighting. And I did a video about this early this week. I was like, you got two welterweights in Khamzat Chimaev and Kamaru Usman fighting, and Dana has said whoever wins that fight is going to fight Sean Strickland, who's the middleweight champion currently. And then, Islam has said if he wins this, he wants to go up to welterweight and compete for the welterweight belt against either Leon Edwards or Colby Covington wins and becomes champion. He wants to fight Colby. So it's like it throws the whole landscape off because now you have Dricus du Plessis, who's the actual rightful middleweight contender. He beat Robert Whitaker in the last pay-per-view. I think it was 289 UFC or 290. But he beat him fair and square, and then now he's sitting waiting like, where's my opportunity? So this whole, the whole card has got the whole UFC landscape for 2024 just got like shifted so much in just the span of 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. We're into this one. We're almost there. And there's so many things to really talk about with this fight. And first, I want to talk to you about really the fact that when you have Alexander the Great, and you also have Islam here, and I know that Alexander the Great is smaller, but he also has a reach advantage. How is that going to be a factor?
Yeah.
Into today's fight.
Well, one thing like you mentioned, he is short, but he's a stocky guy. He played rugby.
Yeah.
He walks around like if he's not competing, he walks around like 200, so I remember one time he said when he played rugby, he was 220, 225. So he's used to packing on weight and walking around with it, but he has a great low center of gravity, especially with his takedown defense. So and his wrestling and grappling is underrated because everybody's so used to him just knocking dudes out and just being a magician on the feet striking. So with Islam, I just feel like he didn't have a full 6 to 8 week training camp to prepare like he did last time. And he just posted on his social media is like right before Dana called him up. He just posted that he just had surgery on his elbow because he was getting ready to fight Ilia Topuria for the featherweight belt in January. Yep. So it's like now, I didn't even mention that earlier. Ilia is like, all right, when I'm gonna get my title shot? So it just depends, how who wins. I do feel like Islam now is just gonna like maul him. I am hoping for Volk to win because I do feel like Volk will be more active as a fighter in the lightweight division, and you know that would be interesting. Like I would love to see a Volkanovski versus Oliveira fight. That would be interesting.
I love that. I love what you're talking about. And I want to go back to what you were talking about with Alex the Great being a stocky guy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I analyzed in the first fight is that I believe Islam was trying to get him into a neck crank.
Yeah.
And he was not able to get him into a neck crank.
Mm-hmm.
And I love what the announcer said in that. He's like, Alex the Great doesn't have a neck. So
it's all
I'm
muscle.
going to say, is that going to be an issue for Islam because he wants to wrestle?
Uh-huh.
And I feel like Alex the Great wants to go into a little bit more of a jiu-jitsu because I also know that he has worked out with the great Greg Jones.
Yeah, John Jones.
When he went into a and so I'm not sure about this one, but we know that he has worked out with a jiu-jitsu legend, and I know Islam totally disrespects that. But how do you feel about that?
Yeah. So I like how you said that he doesn't have a neck. So yeah, Volkanovski, man, he's a stocky dude, and like he loves training with Volkanovski trains with Izzy as well, Israel Adesanya. He trains with John Jones a lot. He's one of those guys where you put him in that category with like a Peyton Manning, a Tom Brady, LeBron James. He's just a student of the game. He always going to get better, no matter how dominant he's been. He's not going to rest on his laurels. He's going to go out and keep proving that he's Alexander the Great, right? So I feel like Islam definitely wants to like take him down. One thing them Dagestani fighters do, they love to press you against the cage and just maul you and use the cage like another fighter, like you're being jumped basically. So if you're getting pressure and then your back is against the cage, now you have nowhere to sprawl. So now they're throwing shots at you, and then they'll shoot a double leg takedown or a single leg, or they might go for an ankle pick. They might trip you up. Any means to get you to the ground, and they'll just suffocate you, maul you, throw some elbows in there, throw some hammer fists, and just wear you down. They're not looking to, if they knock you out, if they get a TKO, that's fine, but they're looking to, especially if it's a championship fight, which are 5 rounds, Islam is perfectly fine with. These guys have like a gas tank like no other, so they're looking to just maul you and just wear your tank out. So even if you do get to your feet, you're going to be gassed, and now you can't even strike like you want to because you're so tired.
One of the things that jumped out from last fight, just that you mentioned with the stamina, I think that nobody really pressed the pace like I really thought they were going to press the pace.
Yeah.
And I think that Islam does a great job that when he grapples and wraps you up on the ground, it's almost like he rests and he's still executing a move. So I think it's quite interesting that you mentioned that. Kind of going into that, do you feel like he's going to be able to utilize like maybe a T kick and maybe get to the middle here and then get him down that way and get to strikes? What do you think is going to be his best asset for this one?
So in the first fight, Volkanovski was a little bit hesitant. I think Volkanovski was trying to feel him out, and then you saw later in those last 2 rounds, Volkanovski turned it up. So I feel like Volkanovski, to his detriment, he's going to push the pace early. Islam, we talked about it in the last coverage of 294. Islam has like a very high percentage. I think you said like 67% of strikes.
Yep.
So he's that means he's an effective. Yeah, so that means he's an effective counter puncher. So I think Volk is going to try to push the pace because he feels like he needs to be aggressive, and I feel like that Islam's going to catch him, and then he's going to stumble him, and then he's just going to get him to the ground. So, and again, I just feel like Volk didn't have enough time, which is everybody's giving him respect for taking this fight on such short notice. But again, I just feel like Dana's slowly going into that WWE territory where he's just making fights because of the popularity instead of giving the fighters that earned their shot a chance. Because I feel like with Martin Gamrot, who was next in line after Oliveira for a title shot, he was the original backup plan if Oliveira, Islam got hurt. And then so like, nah, I'm gonna call an audible. I'm gonna just hit a Volkanovski. We're gonna get this money and get this pay-per-view points. So.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be an interesting fight, and I do agree. It does feel like it's something that's kind of just put together for the most part.
Yeah, it definitely is.
But it was entertaining 284. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we're still going to get that same kind of entertainment
Yeah.
here in 294.
It was entertaining because they had a full like camp to train for each other and get, because Volk was just, remember, you got to remember Volk was he was working on his weight to cut down to get to 145, and then he had to immediately like get the call and then get ready to fight at a different weight division now. So is that weight cut gonna drain him? We're gonna see in the first round how he's affected by it.
Well, let me ask you this. Last time in 284, I believe it was Islam that was able to get a cut on Alex the Great.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like Islam's going to be able to get the amount of damage here going into 294? Do you feel like he's going to be able to get those strikes? I know you keep talking about the training and guys just not having enough here in the camp and getting ready for this.
Right.
Do you feel like we're going to see that type of power?
Yeah, I mean the power, like any fighter, man, the power is always gonna be there. Like you can roll out of bed. That's a God given talent, right? Like you roll out the bed, you can just knock dudes out left and right, like Mike Tyson, right? But I do feel like Alex, if what he has to do is he has to stay patient, he has to stay disciplined. He can't get too eager. Because he was talking about that like after their last fight that he saw a chink in his armor and Islam's armor, and he like, if I get a shot, I know how I'm gonna exploit it. It's just the problem is, like you wasn't preparing for the fight. You was preparing to fight Ilya Taporia, who's a beast of his own. That brother is not, you can't sleep on him either. So yeah, I do feel like if Islam is more hesitant and tries to grapple and tries to take his time, I feel like Volk can capitalize on that and catch him lacking with, because Volk does throw a lot of kicks, leg kicks, body kicks, which is good. Keeps your defender honest on you, and it helps the a great equalizer for grapplers like Islam would be to use leg kicks. Throw body kicks, throw knees, because every time you throw that, if he doesn't have you backed against the cage, he's gonna be hesitant to shoot a takedown because he can get caught coming in. You know what I mean? Coming in for a double leg, got his head exposed, and that can be like a knockout right there. So Volk just want to keep Islam second guessing himself. Islam is confident. He won the last fight, so he doesn't really have to worry about anything right now. But yeah, I just think Volkanovski got to come in that first round and just like take his confidence away. We talk about that playing basketball, just getting in your opponent's grill and defeating their confidence. That's half the battle. If you take their mental game out of it, they're already lost the battle.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with you. And one of the points I wanted to talk about was the fact that Islam was able to kind of keep Alex, I think, guessing a little bit because he kept switching his stance.
Exactly.
In the fight round.
Yep.
In the first round. So, are you expecting much of that to happen here in the same fight, or what do you think?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I do expect Islam to do that, but I do also expect Volkanovski to prepare for that. To be prepared for that. Sorry, because like I said, after the last fight, he did say I've seen like some chinks in his armor, because like Volkanovski said it himself, he was very hesitant in those first couple of rounds, trying to fill out Islam, trying to see.
Confused.
Yeah, so give credit to Islam on that one. He kept Alex guessing on that, but I do expect Volk to be able to better have a better game plan for the switch stances from Islam today.
Okay, so we're about, I think, 5-10 minutes away from the main card here. Give me some keys for Islam to win the fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just stay poised. Just stay, rely on the back foot. He's a beautiful counter striker. He doesn't take a lot of damage. Volk did. You saw like after the post fight at the 284, Islam's face was beat up the most like he's ever had. So again, everybody's like, oh, Volkanovski can get him next time. So just stay poised. Don't let you're in your hometown. Well, not hometown, but you're in Abu Dhabi. So close. It's still in your territory. So you're gonna have the home crowd on your back. Emotions can run wild. So just stay poised. Just stay disciplined. And yeah, just pressure Volkanovski, push him to the cage, and work your grappling.
Okay, and then what is the key here for Alexander the Great? What is he going to have to do to win the fight?
For Volk, I would say, I know I told him don't be aggressive, but I want him to be aggressively smart with his pressure.
Okay.
Throw some head kicks, man. Mix it in there like Conor used to do, man. Just throw some head kicks in there. And like I know Khabib beat Conor in their one and only fight, but people forget Conor rocked Khabib in that fight in the second round. So, it's just, and Conor was having great takedown defense against Khabib. It just, it was just a battle of attrition. And Khabib outlasted Conor's gas tank. So for Volk, I just need him to, stay on the feet. Because grappling, even if you're on top, like even let's say Volkanovski took Islam down, no matter if you're on top or the bottom in grappling, it still is taxing because you're constantly moving on the ground. You know what I mean? Like standing up, you can kind of like space out, keep your distance. Use the octagon to catch your breath. But once you're on the ground, you got somebody on you trying to maul you and stuff like that. So for Volk, keep your distance, use your leg kicks, and just strike and use your distance fighting. And then like for the first 2 rounds, just start picking them apart, and then I say in the third, fourth round, that's when you start taking it up if you're Volk.
Okay, let's go with the prediction. So who do you have winning the fight?
My heart wants Volk to win because I feel like that would be better for like UFC if Volkanovski win, because Islam he's not an active fighter as champion. He fought Charles, right, for the champion. He won the championship, and then he fought Volkanovski, and now he's fighting Volkanovski again. So it's like that he's kind of holding up that division. I feel like Volk will be way more active in both divisions, featherweight and lightweight. So my heart wants Volk to win, but my head is just like, and the only reason I'm picking Islam in this one right now is because of the short week notice. So I got Islam winning this one. I got him in I got a TKO in the fourth round.
I think this goes 5. I like Islam.
Mm-hmm.
I think Islam is going to be able to utilize his power. I think he is going to be able to mix it up with his stances, and I think it's going to confuse Alexander the Great a lot. And I just feel like his wrestling style, I loved watching him in the first fight.
Mm-hmm.
His ability to restore energy and still be wrestling on the ground. Yeah. I think that's going to be the key. And I love the fact that he was able to cut up Alexander as well. I think that power is going to show. I like Islam in this one as well.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, guys, that is today's show. We just wanted to go ahead and give you a quick preview with the main card get ready to come up. Before we get out of here, let's do some house cleaning. I want to go ahead and give Davontae his spotlight here and let him tell you about the brand. Remember, guys, that's going to be in the show notes. That was in the show notes last time. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Davontae. Go ahead and tell us about your brand, your movement, YouTube, and then also if people want to actually learn about jiu-jitsu and how to actually get into the art, how you can take them there.
Yeah, man. Thanks again for having me, bro. It's always a pleasure, man. The big bro. Yeah, man. So I have a YouTube channel, Davontae 12T. That's my handle. My brand is 12 Testament right here. That's my faith. I'm a Christian. I live and die for Jesus Christ. So that's my movement. Everything I do, that's my purpose. I'm also a writer. My book, I'm trying to have my book done by the end of the year so I can go public. So I can publish that. So that's exciting. So yeah, but yeah, guys, follow me. My social media handle is Davontae12T as well for my Instagram. I only have YouTube and Instagram. Those are my only 2 social media channels right now. So yeah, so hit me up. Come through if y'all want to do some jiu-jitsu. I live in California, so if y'all want to do some jiu-jitsu, just hit me up. We can do some sessions.
I love it, man. So with that, guys, we're going to get out of here. I just want to go ahead and thank Spotify for being our platform. You can catch us on there. You can also catch us on YouTube. It's all under Real Talk Sports with Rico. I want to thank the people out there who have actually listened and supported the podcast out there, guys. Until the next one, I got some NBA. I got some NFL coming up. Got a lot of stuff coming up for you guys. I can't wait to get into it. So for myself, Davontae the Real Hogan, we are out of here, guys. And as usual,
guys.
peace.
Peace out.